From our last demonstration, we put a budget in place. Let's take a look at what needs to happen to revise that budget. For our demonstration, we'll be creating a budget revision. This time we have a scenario. So basically we have some PM work which has overrun the budget. So a change order went to the client and we're requesting more PM time. We're going to assume the change order was approved. So what we're going to do is enter a revision to align the budget with the approved change order. And then we'll review the project budget balances inquiry just to show you how it's been updated. And then finally, there's a revision document that's actually available to look at for auditing perspective. So we'll take a look at that as well, just so you can see it. All right, so we're looking at the project budget balances for our project 202, which was just some report development for city manufacturing. And basically, if we look at this, we're looking at the revenue tab right now, and we have a $10,000 original budget, and we can see that we have $4,400 remaining. But if we get down to a category-specific view for PM work, we can see that we're $100 over budget already, which is not a good thing in the client's eyes. And we came in and we were going to ask for a change, and we'll put $2,000 more because there's more PM work expected to go forward. So we need to get that budget revised. So we'll go through and revise the budget and take a look at the documents associated with it. Okay, so if you want to revise a budget, basically you're going to go to your project, you're going to select the plan tab, and you'll go to the project budget button again. Majority of the time I get questions like, just from this form right here, I can't edit anything. How do you revise this budget? You can't type in here. You can't do anything. This is all locked down. This is the original budget when you initially come into this form, and after you submit and approve it, you don't work with it. That's it. It's all done. What you do is from the action menu up top, you can see that there's a revise section, and there's two buttons. There's the new revision, which is how you create a new revision to this budget. And then there's the revisions button, and this brings you to all existing revisions. So if you create a revision or have approved, basically a completed revision, they'll fall under the revisions button. But for our purposes, we want to create a new revision. And you can see it basically brings you into the same form as the last form we were looking at, but there's some information here. So what important information that you need to fill out? Well, if you have like a change order number, you could say this is change order 500, something like that. Revision date, when does this revision go into place? You could say, I don't know, we'll start this revision next month if you want to. Description, and then the requested date, when was it actually requested, and we'll just say that we requested it on 4/1. And then you can say who the actual requester is. You can define if it's a customer, worker, vendor, etc. And then you can pick the piece of metadata as well associated with the type up here. So I'll just pick, I don't know where city manufacturing is in here. They must be down towards the bottom. I'll pick an employee. That'll work out better. We'll say that somebody internally, Ted Howard, suggests this because he was monitoring the budget and found out we were over. Okay, so anyways, we have all our cost budget and our revenue budget as well. What you can do is enter a revised amount or a new budget amount. Either one works. If you do a revised budget amount, you can see I'll just put $1,000 in there. It just bumps up the new budget amount to $5,000. My best practice is basically just fill in the new budget amount. So if you want, I'm going to put a 0 for that. All right, so if you want to modify the project management work, we're going to say that we're going to double it because it was just way more than expected. We're just going to put a 2,000 there and a 4,000 in the revenue budget. Oops, we put a 40,000. That'd be nice. There we go. There, you've just revised your budget. There's other bells and whistles. You can get into the details again if you save your work. We're going to get into allocation a little later. You can allocate your budget over time. But other than that, all you do is come in, revise your numbers, and then you're back in the workflow game. You can see workflow is at the top again, and there is a specific workflow for budget revisions. You need to submit to it once you have your revision completed, which we'll do. And then basically you should be watching the revision workflow status right here. It's submitted right now. Once it's approved, you'll see that it turns to an approved status, and I'll just keep refreshing. There it is, it's approved. I have an automatic approval, and once again, if you didn't, whoever the approver is would have to come into the revision. They'd have the workflow button up here, and they'd have different options: approve, reject, delegate, etc. We're just making it simple here, so it's just automatically approving. And once that's completed, we'll just back out. And now we're back at the original budget. And if I refresh this form, you can see now we have approved revisions pulling in here. So we got the $1,000 from a cost perspective and the $2,000 here, and it's showing you your total budget over on the right-hand side. So this is really your original budget first and foremost, and then when you start posting or approving new revisions, basically you can see that it updates accordingly. The revisions button, so if I click the revisions button, you can see that we only have one revision and it's approved. If you want to go look at it, you can hit the, how do we get into there? Oh, geez, right there. Hit the edit button. It brings you inside. Yeah, and then you can just take a look. It's basically your audit trail to all the different revisions that are either in a pending status or approved, or yeah. Okay, so once you have an approved revision, you can get to take a look at your project budget balances, and you can get to it right from the budget if you want. So I'll just click on it right here. And now if we jump over to, I'll just look at the revenue tab here. We'll explode this out, and you can see now that our revenue budget has greatly been increased. So we had an original budget of $10,000. We have an approved budget of $2,000 or $12,000, and the approved revisions are $2,000 over here. And specifically at the PM level, we have $2,000. Yeah. So that's basically how you revise your budget. Take a look at the different documents that are associated with the revision, and then once you have an approved revision, how it shows up on your project budget balances. And going forward, your consumed budget will be versus your total budget rather than just your original.